Recently, I did a video on the upcoming BMW iX3. I really love this vehicle's range, charging speed, and some of the features. But that said, I honestly had zero intention of doing another video on the vehicle so soon. The next video was planned to be when I could actually lay my hands on one. But then I found out that there's some really interesting stuff about this vehicle that I didn't cover, and some of this is kind of crazy. How crazy? Well, let's talk about it right now. Hi, this is Rich, and welcome to Wings, Wheels, and Wires. All right, so recently I did this video here where I talk about the upcoming BMW iX3. Now, what I didn't know at the time is that this vehicle also comes with some really interesting AI features. Now, wait, I can just imagine you rolling your eyes right now because we hear AI everywhere, and most of the time it's honestly more hype than any practical use. But in the case of the BMW iX3, some of these AI features are actually pretty legit. For our first example, let's start with something small, say about this big. And that would be your charge port door. If you stop anywhere else and walk towards the back of your vehicle, nothing happens. But if you roll up to a charger and walk towards the back of your vehicle, the AI on board will actually go, hey, he plans to charge, and open the charging port door for you automatically. On the surface, this may not seem like a big deal at all. I mean, after all, Tesla's been doing something like this for years. But it's actually a bigger difference than it looks like. Because, see, in the case of the Tesla, what it is, you roll up to a supercharger and you have a button on the charging cable. And when you press that, that sends a signal to open up the charge door for you. Does not work, however, if you go to, for example, EVgo or Electrify America or ChargePoint. You don't end up having that signal, so you actually have to open it on your own. The iX3, on the other hand, is aware that you are at a charger, and it is aware that you're walking towards the back of the vehicle, and it decides on its own to open that charge port door for you. This is, for me, pretty significant and really cool. Now, a cynic at this point might go, yeah, that's a cool parlor trick, but that really doesn't affect the operation of the vehicle. It's not a big deal. And to that, I would say you're probably right. It is a little more than a parlor trick. So let's go with something a little more significant. How about ADAS? Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, or ADAS, are features within the vehicle to help reduce your chances of getting in an accident. So in that regard, they're pretty awesome. That said, however, they do have some drawbacks. The first one of which is that they do not play well sometimes with the driver. If you try to take control of the vehicle, they could, in some situations, resist your efforts, and in other situations, may turn off because of you taking control of the vehicle. I have a really good example of this not too far from my house. There's a transition ramp from one highway to another that's actually pretty sharp. Now, I have adaptive cruise control so it can match the speed of other vehicles as I go through this curve, but it has a tendency to take this curve much more quickly than I trust the ADAS to do. So at this point, I have a couple of options. I can disengage the adaptive cruise control and take over control through the curve on my own, or I can tap the brake to slow down, but this will automatically disengage the cruise control. Now, what the BMW iX3 does differently is that I can slightly tap the brake to slow it down naturally and then release it, and the car will resume on its adaptive cruise control, just as if I never tapped the brake. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much this is AI, but it is very cool that this vehicle can go, okay, you took control for a second, now you gave it back to me, I got it, rather than needing you to reinstate it all over again. Perhaps the worst example that I ever experienced was my week driving a older Kia Niro EV. Sometimes when I would merge onto the highway, it would be in my best interest to get over and merge onto the lane before the solid line ended. And when I did this, sometimes the lane departure protection would actually fight me getting over. And on at least one occasion, the time lost with this little wrestling match actually created an unsafe situation.
If you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button down below. While you're down there, hitting the subscribe button would greatly support the channel. And, of course, don't forget to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And stand by to the end of the video to hear my new subscriber shoutouts.
So what does the iX3 do differently? Well, when you are driving, it actually observes you and takes your state into account. For example, if you're asleep, distracted, or just not paying attention in general to what you're doing, it will actually activate or hold on to the lane keep assist. And if you start to drift out, make sure to keep you in, like lane keep assist is supposed to do. But if it sees you looking intently with your hands on the wheel, it understands that what you are trying to do is get over, and it does not interfere. It goes, cool, whatever you're doing, you go with it. And then once you're back in the lane, it will return to considering whether or not it needs to keep hold of the control of the lane keep assist. So at this point, you might be considering, okay, this is cool, but why does this even matter? I mean, go get a Tesla and get full self driving. Well, see, there's a couple different factors. If you want full self driving, then go with that. It's perfectly fine. That's for you. That's great. For me, I actually enjoy driving and I enjoy taking hold of the vehicle. I, at the same time, do like having ADAS features available to me. I don't like having this being a competition between me and the vehicle. And the way the iX3 seems to be operating, it is much more of working as a team, as a co-pilot, if you will, who actually goes, you got this, I'm a back off. Oop, looks like you don't got this. Let me help you out. And I think that's a pretty cool concept. Of course, at this point, I think it's really important to point out that all of this is according to BMW. It'll remain to be seen in real world when I get behind the wheel if these features will work as advertised or if it will just feel like just another ADAS system. But if it is true, this is really awesome. It definitely is in keeping with BMW's moniker of the ultimate driving machine, where your vehicle gets to be your partner in driving. So I think this is pretty cool. Let me know down below, though, what do you think of this? Do you think these cool features and this AI integrated into your driving, understanding your intentions and working with you rather than just going, I have a job and I'm going to do it? Is this pretty advanced? Is it pretty cool? Is this something you're interested in? All right. Well, thanks for watching. Stick around for my subscriber shout out. And here's a video you ought to check out.
And now it's time for the subscriber shout-outs. If you'd like your own shout-out, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and either make sure your name is visible or put in the comments down below that you subscribed.
Gareth Jones, Michael Holmstein, BM. Thanks for subscribing.